The desperation pattern recognition. You've been working toward your goal for months. Then, suddenly, signs everywhere. That song lyric perfectly describing your situation. Your lucky numbers on a license plate. A stranger mentioning something eerily related to what you're manifesting. You're convinced the universe is finally communicating. But what if your desperate brain is just manufacturing meaning from randomness? Meet Maya, 26 years old. Career transition goal, retail to graphic design. Months 1 through 3 become consumed with signs. She's scrolling Instagram. A post mentions creativity and freedom. Her exact words from journaling. Sign 1. Week 2. She's at the grocery store. Overhears someone say graphic design. Sign 2. This must mean something. Week 3. License plate. 317. Her birthday. The universe is speaking. Month 2 arrives. She's making decisions based on patterns. A freelance client reaches out. Good opportunity. Real money. But his name is David. She wrote down a client named Daniel on her vision board. Wrong name. She hesitates. Feels misaligned. Turns it down. Month 3. More signs. Song lyrics. Number sequences. Random conversations. She's convinced breakthrough is imminent. The universe is confirming. Month 4. Another client inquiry. Different name, different project. Doesn't match her vision board specifications. She says no. Waiting for the real thing. Month 7 arrives. Still interpreting everything as messages. Still waiting for the universe to deliver exactly what she scripted. 0 actual clients. Timeline. 7 months of pattern seeking. 0 progress. Month 8. She learns about apophenia and pattern recognition under stress. Realizes she'd been avoiding real action by waiting for cosmic permission. Month 9. Next opportunity appears. No signs. No cosmic confirmation. Just a solid project. She takes it. Week 6 after accepting. 3 more clients through referrals. Timeline. 9 months total. Could have been 3 without sign-seeking paralysis. Here's what Northwestern University researchers discovered studying pattern perception. People experiencing uncertainty or lacking control showed dramatically increased pattern recognition in completely random stimuli. Research published in Science found the brain's reticular activating system of your attention filter. Scanning 11 million bits of information and selecting 40 bits you consciously notice automatically flags information matching your current goals. Under stress, this intensifies what psychologists call apophenia, seeing meaningful connections in random information when your brain is desperately seeking control. Here's what people miss. Signs aren't the universe communicating. They're your stressed brain's coping mechanism for uncertainty. Your RAS filters for goal-related information automatically. That's neuroscience. Under pressure, your pattern seeking intensifies into seeing meaning where none exists. That's not the universe giving you signs. That's your brain desperately seeking control through pattern recognition. Understanding this frees you from paralysis by sign seeking. Real opportunities don't need cosmic confirmation, they need evaluation and action. Stop making decisions based on license plates and song lyrics. Start making them based on actual evidence. Does this opportunity align with your skills? Does the timeline work? Are the terms fair? Those questions matter. The client's name matching your vision board doesn't. Recognize your RAS is doing its job flagging goal-related information without turning every coincidence into cosmic direction. The opportunities are there. Your stressed brain just needs permission to act on them without waiting for the universe to send clearer signs. The sudden ease after prolonged struggle. You've been forcing, hustling, grinding for months with minimal results. Then one morning, you wake up and something feels different. Lighter. You stop obsessing over the outcome. Stop checking constantly. And within days, the exact thing you've been chasing starts moving toward you. Is this surrender finally working? Or is something else happening in your psychology? Meet Jordan. Building an online business for 8 months. Revenue goal. Consistent monthly income. Current reality. Anxiety about every metric. Months 1 through 7 look identical. He wakes up, checks analytics before breakfast, refreshes email every 30 minutes, stalks competitor accounts, obsesses over every potential client conversation. His energy screams desperation in sales calls. Month 3. A prospect asks about pricing. Jordan's voice gets tight. Too eager. The client says they'll think about it. Never responds. Month 5. Another inquiry. Jordan follows up daily. Then, twice daily. Desperation obvious. Client ghosts. Month 7 arrives. His cortisol is chronically elevated. Sleep disrupted. Decision-making paralyzed. Every choice feels massive. He can't think clearly. Can't see solutions. Stuck in the same patterns producing the same minimal results. Month 8. Burnout hits hard. He's exhausted. Stops checking analytics every hour. Too tired to obsess. Stops refreshing email constantly. Focuses on content creation instead of results tracking. Week 2 of reduced checking. He wakes up. Doesn't look at analytics. Creates content. Afternoon arrives. Opens email casually. Client inquiry. Serious interest. He responds calmly. No desperation. Professional. Clear. Week 3. 2 more inquiries. His energy shifted. Confident. Relaxed. No longer chasing. Month 9. Revenue triples. Not from mystical surrender. From reduced cortisol, allowing better decisions and less desperate communication. Timeline. 8 months of anxious forcing. 1 month of nervous system regulation changed everything. Here's what researchers at the University of California discovered studying stress and decision-making. Chronic cortisol elevation impairs prefrontal cortex function, the brain region responsible for executive decisions and strategic thinking. Studies tracking negotiation outcomes found desperation signaling in communication reduced success rates by 43%. Research published in Psychological Science showed nonverbal cues of anxiety decreased perceived confidence and competence in professional interactions. What psychologists call desperation, signaling unconscious communication patterns, revealing internal stress that others detect and respond to negatively. Here's what people miss. Letting go isn't mystical surrender. It's cortisol reduction. When you stop obsessing, your stress hormones drop. Your prefrontal cortex functions properly. You make clearer decisions. You communicate confidence instead of need. Opportunities respond to that neurological shift. That's not the universe rewarding your surrender. That's reduced cortisol, improving your cognitive function and communication energy. You don't need to master spiritual detachment. You need to manage your nervous system. Schedule specific times for checking metrics instead of constant monitoring. Focus on creation and execution during work blocks, not outcome tracking. Your brain cannot make quality decisions while flooded with stress hormones. The ease you're seeking isn't about faith, it's about giving your prefrontal cortex the conditions it needs to function. Lower your cortisol through structured breaks from obsessive checking. Your opportunities will respond to the confidence that emerges when your nervous system isn't in constant threat mode. That shift is something you can create intentionally, starting today, the unexpected conversation that changes everything. You've been applying, networking, posting, reaching out? Nothing. Then you're in line for coffee and have a casual conversation with a stranger. Or you're at a family event and mention your goal to someone you haven't seen in years. And that random interaction becomes the breakthrough you've been forcing for months. Random luck? Actually, it's probability finally working in your favor. Meet Elena. Job searching for 4 months. 200 applications sent. Customized resumes. LinkedIn cold outreach. Formal networking events. Exhausting. Minimal responses. Month 1. She applies to 15 jobs. 3 rejections, 12 silence. Month 2. 30 more applications. LinkedIn messages to hiring managers. Cold emails to recruiters. 2 phone screens. Both dead ends. Month 3. She's at networking events twice weekly. Exchanging business cards. Following up professionally. Nothing converts. Month 4 arrives. She's burned out. Tired of trying. Holiday party invitation. Family friend hosting. She doesn't want to go. Forces herself anyway. She's standing near the food. Cousin's friend approaches. Small talk. What do you do? Elena mentions her job search. The frustration. 4 months of applications. The friend listens. What field? Elena explains. Marketing analytics, data visualization, strategy. The friend pauses. My company's hiring for that exact role. Our recruiter's been searching for months. She pulls out her phone. Sends Elena's LinkedIn to their internal recruiter right there. Week 2. Elena gets email. Direct from hiring manager. Not through application portal. Through internal referral. Week 3. Interview scheduled. Week 5. Second interview. Week 8. Offer. Accepted. Timeline. 4 months of formal effort producing nothing. One casual conversation at a party she didn't want to attend. Breakthrough. Here's what Stanford sociologist Mark Granovetter discovered in his groundbreaking research on job acquisition published in the American Journal of Sociology. 70% of jobs come through informal networks, what he called the strength of weak ties. Studies tracking successful job searches found weak tie connections, acquaintances, friends of friends. Casual contacts provided access to different information networks than close contacts. Research on compound probability shows each interaction increases cumulative success likelihood, what psychologists call opportunity surface area. The mathematical reality that more attempts across diverse channels create more chances for breakthrough. Here's what people miss. Breakthrough conversations aren't mystical timing. They're probability mathematics. Every interaction is another lottery ticket. Most won't hit. But you need volume for the math to work. That coffee chat was only possible because you'd been consistently showing up, creating surface area for opportunity. That's not the universe's perfect timing. That's compound probability finally working after sufficient volume. Stop expecting individual efforts to produce immediate results. Start understanding cumulative effect. Every application, conversation, post, event attendance increases your probability surface area. The breakthrough conversation feels random, but it required all the previous attempts to create conditions for it to happen. Keep creating surface area across multiple channels, formal applications, and informal conversations. Mention your goals to people outside your immediate circle. Attend events, even when you're tired. Each interaction compounds. The math will eventually work in your favor, but only if you give it enough surface area to operate on. The overnight success that took years. They post their success story. 6-figure business in 6 months. Dream relationship manifested in weeks. Career breakthrough that seemed to happen overnight. You've been working just as hard for just as long. Why isn't it happening for you? What if those overnight successes are deliberately hiding years of invisible foundation? Meet Chen. Building content business for 18 months. Slow progress. Then he sees competitor launch successful course. 6 figures in 3 months, according to their Instagram. Chen's frustrated. Month 19. Chen makes a decision. Quits his 18-month strategy. Too slow. Copies competitor's fast method. New approach. New content style. New positioning. Starting over. Months 1 through 3 of new approach. 0 results. He's confused. Competitor succeeded in 3 months. Why isn't he? Month 4. Still nothing. Month 5. Desperation setting in. Month 6 arrives. He's scrolling LinkedIn. Sees competitor's full profile. Wait. The competitor joined LinkedIn 4 years ago. Posted content for 3 years before course launch. Built audience of 20,000 before overnight success. The 3-month timeline? Only the course revenue. Not the foundation building. Chen realizes the story was compressed. That 6-figure in 3 months post hid 48 months of invisible work. Audience building. Skill development. Network formation. Authority establishment. The course succeeded fast because the foundation took years. Month 7. Chen returns to his original 18-month strategy. Commits fully. Month 12, 30 months total. From original start, he launches his course. Revenue builds steadily. Not explosive. Sustainable. Month 18, 3 years total. His business is thriving. Someone comments, "You manifested this so fast." He laughs. Fast? 3 years. But to outside observers who only saw the launch? Overnight success. Timeline. 18 months wasted copying compressed timelines. 18 more months building properly. 3 years total. Here's what Harvard Business School researchers discovered tracking startup trajectories published in the Harvard Business Review. Companies labeled overnight successes averaged 6.7 years of invisible work before breakthrough. Studies analyzing social media success stories found reported timelines were 40 to 60% shorter than actual documented timelines. Research on survivorship bias shows only successes get posted, failures stay invisible. What psychologists call hindsight narrative compression, the tendency to distort actual timelines when recounting success, compressing years of groundwork into headline-worthy timeframes. Here's what people miss. Success timelines are systematically distorted when reported. That 3-month story hides years of skill development, network building, failed attempts. Instagram shows month 12, not months 1 through 11 of nothing visible happening. Social media highlights breakthrough moments, not the foundation that made them possible. That's not them manifesting faster. That's timeline compression, hiding invisible foundation work you didn't see. Your timeline isn't broken. You're comparing your behind-the-scenes month 6 to someone's highlight reel moment, which actually took them 3 years to reach. Stop measuring against compressed fiction. Measure against your own starting point. Chinese bamboo spends 5 years underground showing nothing, then grows 90 feet in 6 weeks. Your invisible foundation work is still work. It's building the root system that allows explosive growth when conditions align. The person posting about their 3-month success isn't lying, they're just not mentioning the 3 years before that made those 3 months possible. Keep building your foundation. Your breakthrough timeline is valid even if it doesn't fit in an Instagram caption. The forced door that finally opens. You've been pushing toward one specific path. Applied to that company 17 times. Reached out to that person repeatedly. Chased that particular opportunity relentlessly. Nothing. Then you pivot. Try a slightly different approach. Explore an adjacent path. Consider an alternative route, and suddenly the original door swings open effortlessly. Why does releasing the grip make things move? Meet Priya. Target. Specific tech company. 9 months of pursuing. Dream job. Clear vision. Applied 7 times. Customized cover letters. Informational interviews with current employees. LinkedIn connection requests to hiring managers. Month 3. Another application submitted. Tailored resume. Perfect positioning. Week 2. Automated rejection. Month 4. She reaches out to a manager directly. Thoughtful message explaining her interest. No response. Month 5. She attends company recruiting event. Talks to 3 employees. Follows up. Silence. Month 6 arrives. Her communication is getting desperate. Messages too frequent. Tone too eager. Energy screaming need. Month 7. Another application. Her 8th. Another rejection. Month 8. She's exhausted. Realizes this single path fixation isn't working. Month 9. She explores adjacent companies. Similar roles. Different organizations. Keeps dream company as long-term goal but stops desperate pursuit. Month 10. Accepts offer elsewhere. Good company. Solid role. Relevant experience. Week 3 in new position. Her phone pings. Email. Recruiter from original dream company. We've noticed your applications over the past year. Your persistence showed commitment. We have an opening and think you'd be great. Interested? She reads it twice. 9 months of chasing, nothing. 3 weeks of having other options. They reach out. Month 12. She interviews. Relaxed. Confident. Has current job as backup. No desperation. Month 13. Offer. Better than she'd imagined. Hiring manager later mentions her earlier persistence showed dedication, but desperation signaling was concerning until she demonstrated she had options. Timeline. 13 months. Could have been faster without scarcity-driven pursuit. Here's what researchers at Columbia University discovered studying negotiation dynamics published in Organizational Behavior and Human Decision Processes. Scarcity mindset, mental state of perceived lack, reduced negotiation power and decision quality by 37%. Studies on professional communication found desperation signaling through excessive follow-up decreased hiring likelihood. Research tracking job search success showed candidates with multiple simultaneous pursuits received offers at rates 52% higher than those fixated on single opportunities. What psychologists call optionality signaling, communicating abundance and choice through having multiple viable paths, which decision-makers perceive as confidence and value. Here's what people miss. The door didn't open because you surrendered mystically. It opened because having genuine alternatives changed your energy, communication, and signaling. You stopped radiating desperation, started demonstrating value through options. Decision makers detect and respond to that shift. That's not the universe testing your detachment. That's scarcity mindset shifting to abundance through actual alternatives. You don't need to abandon your primary goal. You need to build real alternatives alongside it. Explore adjacent paths while keeping your main target in view. Having genuine options changes how you communicate, less desperate, more valuable, clearer in your worth. Apply to multiple companies. Pursue multiple clients. Explore several paths simultaneously. The original door often opens because you're no longer pushing from scarcity. You're moving from choice. That confidence is detectable in every interaction. Decision makers respond to people who have options because options signal value. Build your alternatives starting today. The skill you didn't know you were building. You've been working toward your main goal for months. Maybe you're making minimal visible progress. Maybe you're frustrated it's taking so long. What you don't realize? You've been developing a completely different skill set that will matter more than the original goal. That wasted time was actually building your foundation for something bigger. Meet Marcus. YouTube channel goal. 14 months in. Target. Monetization and sponsorships. Reality. Slow growth. 3 videos weekly. Minimal subscribers. No brand deals. Feels like failure. Month 3. He checks analytics. 47 subscribers. Views. Inconsistent. Compares himself to channels that grew faster. Month 6. 112 subscribers. Still not monetized. Frustration building. Why is this taking so long? Month 9 arrives. 200 subscribers. Growth painfully slow. He's learned video editing software inside out. Script writing improving. Thumbnail psychology studied extensively. Audience retention patterns analyzed. But the goal, monetization and sponsorships, still distant. Month 12. 315 subscribers. 13 months of consistent work. Comparing himself to creators who hit monetization in 6 months, feels behind. Month 14. Small company reaches out. Not for sponsorship, for employment. They saw his videos, impressed by visual storytelling, script structure, editing quality, audience psychology understanding, offering him position, content director, salary, triple his previous job. He reads the job description. Everything he learned building his failing YouTube channel. Video production, narrative development, analytics interpretation, audience engagement strategy. He takes the position. Uses income to continue YouTube without monetization pressure. Month 18, 4 months into new job. Channel finally monetized. Growth accelerating. No longer desperate for it. Timeline. 14 months of slow failure, building skills that created opportunity better than original goal. Here's what research published in the Journal of Applied Psychology reveals about skill transfer. Abilities developed in one domain enhance performance in adjacent areas at rates 63% higher than domain-specific training alone. Studies tracking deliberate practice found focused repetition in compressed timeframes builds expertise faster than traditional timelines. MIT research on skill acquisition showed neural pathways form regardless of immediate goal achievement. What psychologists call latent expertise competencies developed through consistent practice that create value before market recognition or financial return materializes. Here's what people miss. Your goal was a vehicle for skill development, not just an end destination. Every month of slow progress was building capabilities you didn't know you needed. The skills matter more than the original outcome. They create opportunities you couldn't have predicted when you started. That's not wasted time toward a failing goal. That's skill development, creating adjacent opportunities bigger than your original target. Stop measuring success only by original goal metrics. Audit what you've actually learned these past months. What skills have you built? Video editing, writing, analysis, communication, technical abilities? Those competencies are assets regardless of whether your primary goal succeeds on your expected timeline. Document your developed skills. Update your professional profiles with them. Often the abilities you build chasing one goal create opportunities in completely different directions. Better directions you couldn't have envisioned at the start. Your slow progress is building transferable expertise. Those skills are already valuable. Start positioning them as such. The pattern breaks right before breakthrough. You've been consistent for months. Same routine, same effort, same approach. It's working slowly, not failing, but not breaking through either. Then something disrupts your pattern. You get sick. A life event forces you to stop. You have to change your approach completely. And when you return or shift direction, everything accelerates. Was the break necessary? Or is something else at work? Meet Alicia, marketing agency owner. 11 months in. Steady client acquisition. 3 to 4 monthly. Good, not great. Hitting ceiling. Can't break past that number despite increasing effort. Months 1 through 11 look identical. Same networking strategy. Coffee meetings twice weekly. Same service packages. Same positioning. Consistent results. But no growth breakthrough. Month 8. She increases effort. More meetings. More outreach. Results stay flat. 3 to 4 clients monthly. Ceiling unchanged. Month 9. Tries different networking groups. Same result. Month 10. Adjusts pricing. No change. Still 3 to 4 clients. Month 11. She's frustrated. Working harder. Same plateau. Then month 12 arrives. Major illness. 3 weeks bedridden. Can't network. Can't take sales calls. Can't deliver usual service. She panics. Has to automate. Designs email onboarding sequence. Creates template packages. Simplifies service delivery. Delegates everything possible. Survival mode. Week 3 recovering. She checks email. 7 client inquiries. 7. More than double her ceiling. She's confused. Did nothing for 3 weeks. Week 4. Returns to work. New streamlined systems in place. Takes 3 calls. All convert. Month 13. 11 new clients. Nearly triple previous ceiling. Month 14. 16 clients. She realizes the forced break created operational innovation. Her old approach hit capacity limits. Manual onboarding. Custom everything. Time intensive. New automated systems increased capacity and attractiveness. Efficiency made her more appealing. Timeline. 11 months at ceiling. 1 forced disruption. Breakthrough. Here's what researchers at Carnegie Mellon University discovered studying cognitive fixation published in Cognitive Psychology. Repeated approaches create mental rigidity. What psychologists call cognitive fixation. Mental state where repeated patterns prevent seeing alternative solutions even when current approach hits ceiling. Studies on incubation effects found breaks from active problem-solving allowed unconscious processing and insight generation at rates 48% higher than continuous effort. Neuroscience research revealed the default mode network brain regions activating during rest, enabling creative problem-solving blocked during active focused work. Here's what people miss. The break wasn't mystical timing. It was forced pattern interruption. You'd been locked in cognitive fixation, repeating approaches that hit their ceiling. The disruption broke that rigidity, gave your default mode network space to process, forced innovation through constraint. That's not the universe testing you before breakthrough. That's forced pattern disruption breaking cognitive fixation and enabling new approaches. You don't need to wait for external disruption. Intentionally interrupt your patterns before crisis forces it. If you've been consistent for months without breakthrough, you're likely in cognitive fixation, repeating approaches that reach their ceiling. Schedule strategic breaks from your routine. Question your methods systematically. Force yourself to redesign one element completely. Ask, what would I do differently if I had to rebuild this from scratch? The breakthrough isn't coming from working harder with the same pattern. It's coming from pattern disruption, enabling innovation. Identify one core process you've been repeating and redesign it this week. That intentional interruption might be exactly what breaks your ceiling. The moment you stop watching for it, you've been hypervigilant, tracking every metric, checking constantly, analyzing every small change for evidence your reality is shifting. Then one random Tuesday, not checking, not expecting, not watching, you get the message, the offer, the breakthrough. Is this mystical timing? Or is your constant surveillance actually blocking what you're trying to create? Meet Devin. Job searching for 7 months. Obsessively checking email every 30 minutes. LinkedIn constantly. Phone anxiety about missing opportunities. Wakes up, checks inbox before breakfast. Throughout the day. Refreshing. Scanning. Analyzing. Month 3. Interview scheduled. He checks his phone during the conversation. Distracted. Interviewer notices. Doesn't get callback. Month 4. Another opportunity. He follows up via email. Then again. Then 3 more times. Desperate monitoring. Client senses it. Ghosts him. Month 5 arrives. His cortisol is chronically elevated from constant checking. Sleep disrupted. Decision-making impaired. Can't focus on current work because constantly monitoring for next opportunity. Every notification triggers anxiety spike. Is this the one? Month 6. He's exhausted. Can't think clearly. Makes poor decisions in conversations because his prefrontal cortex is constantly hijacked by surveillance anxiety. Month 7. Seeks help. Therapist addresses the checking behavior. Suggests designated times. Morning and evening only. No midday monitoring. Week 1 of new pattern. Brutal. He wants to check constantly. Resists. Week 2. Slightly easier. He's working on a project. Focused. Not checking. Afternoon arrives. He finishes his work. Opens email casually. Message waiting. Interview invitation. Dream role. Sent 3 hours ago while he was working. Week 3. Interview scheduled. He's calm. Present. Confident. Not checking phone during conversation. Clear communication. Week 4. Second interview. Same energy. Relaxed. Professional. Week 5. Offer. Hiring manager later mentions his calm confidence stood out. Timeline. 7 months of anxious surveillance producing poor results. 5 weeks of reduced monitoring. Breakthrough. Here's what University of California researchers discovered studying continuous partial attention published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Constant monitoring, what psychologists call continuous partial attention, mental state of perpetual low-level alertness, reduced cognitive function by 31%, and increased stress hormone production significantly. Studies tracking decision quality found decision fatigue from excessive monitoring impaired judgment in professional interactions. Research on cortisol's impact showed chronic elevation from hypervigilance disrupted executive function, memory consolidation, and communication clarity. Here's what people miss. Constant surveillance isn't dedication or preparation. It's stress behavior sabotaging the exact outcomes you're pursuing. Every check triggers cortisol. That chronic elevation impairs cognitive functions needed for opportunity recognition and execution. The breakthrough arrived when you stopped checking because reduced monitoring lowered stress hormones. That's not mystical timing rewarding your surrender. That's reduced cortisol from less surveillance, improving your cognitive function and presence. Your reality will shift when you create the neurological conditions for change, and chronic surveillance prevents that. Set designated checking times instead of constant monitoring. Morning and evening work for most goals. Build notification systems that alert you to important updates rather than requiring perpetual scanning. Your brain cannot function optimally under continuous partial attention. The confidence, creativity, and clear communication that attract breakthrough require a nervous system not flooded with surveillance-triggered cortisol. Delete apps from your phone if necessary. Use website blockers during work hours. Schedule specific review periods and protect the time between them for deep focus and execution. The opportunities you're desperately scanning for will arrive when you're calm enough to recognize them and competent enough to seize them effectively. Your reality changes when your nervous system does. That shift is something you control starting now. Tell me in the comments which sign hit you hardest today. And if you want more content that exposes the myths and reveals what actually works, Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss the next one.